Investigate the New York Liberty now. People want the New York Liberty investigated. Why? I told you guys why. Winning franchises do whatever it takes. You think a team like New York, with all of the connections they have, with all of the sponsorship deals they have, you think they're not going to do whatever it takes?
That's not speculation. That's a content creator saying the quiet part out loud. Brown paper bags full of cash, wink and nod deals, sponsorship arrangements that conveniently cover the gap between what the salary cap allows and what star players actually receive. And the target of this accusation? The reigning WNBA champion, New York Liberty, who just signed three-time All-Star Satu Sabally to join a roster that already includes Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones. So the question isn't whether teams are finding creative ways around the salary cap. The question is how blatant can it get before the league steps in?
The New York Liberty picked up Satu Sabally in free agency, and fans are demanding them. They need to be investigated. Fans are asking themselves, how can they afford all of this? I told you how. The same way the Indiana Fever can afford all of it. Go to your connections, go to your sponsorships, and say, hey, we're thinking about bringing this player in. Can you foot the bill? We need an extra 300 grand. You got a sponsorship deal for her? We need an extra 150. You think you can make her the face of the company for a little bit?
February 2025. The Liberty announced they've signed Satu Sabally, who just led the Phoenix Mercury to the WNBA Finals. On paper, this shouldn't be possible. Stewart is making over $200,000. Ionescu commands a max contract. Jones just re-signed. The WNBA salary cap for 2025 is approximately $1.46 million total for an entire 12-player roster. That's the entire team budget. So when fans see the Liberty adding another all-star to a championship core, the math doesn't add up. And that's when the accusations started flying. The Sace, the family that owns the Liberty, are billionaires with connections throughout New York's corporate landscape. They own the Brooklyn Nets. They have relationships with every major brand operating in the city. And according to this theory, those relationships become the workaround. A player takes less money in WNBA salary, but suddenly lands a $300,000 endorsement deal with a company that happens to sponsor the Liberty. Coincidence? That's what fans are demanding the league investigate.
To it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Major WNBA free agency domino. I think that's the first time in the history of the WNBA that those 5 words have been in that sequential order. Major WNBA free agency domino. All-star Satu Sabally has agreed to sign a multi-year deal to join the New York Liberty. Agent Zach Miller of WNBA.
But here's where this gets complicated. The Liberty aren't the only team playing this game. The Chicago Sky just acquired Skylar Diggins-Smith and Angel Reese through trades, plus added Camila Cardoso in the draft. The Indiana Fever, despite Caitlin Clark making just $500,000 and Kelsey Mitchell taking the Supermax at $249,000, somehow couldn't land a marquee free agent. They signed Temi Fagbinley and Tyasha Harris, solid role players, but not the impact starter this creator is demanding. That's the frustration you're hearing. It's not just about the Liberty building a super team. It's about the perception that some franchises know how to work the system while others either can't or won't. The Liberty operate in the largest media market in the country with ownership that has deep pockets and deeper connections. The Fever operate in Indianapolis with ownership that, while committed, doesn't have the same corporate network to tap into for these side deals.
I got you. This was expected, but damn, Liberty got all the cap space for them. She's going to take her sister's number 8 with the money, getting everyone but Sabrina to sign for the minimum. It's interesting to me that she went there after they cut her sister. New York Liberty about to be a whole vibe now. What the F is this, man? They are all cheating. I don't care. What the F?
Let's talk about what actually happened with Sabally. She spent 3 seasons with the Dallas Wings before being traded to Phoenix in February 2024. In Phoenix, she averaged 12.3 points and 5.1 rebounds during the regular season, then elevated her game in the playoffs as the Mercury made an unexpected run to the finals. She became a free agent in February 2025 and had options. She could have stayed in Phoenix. She could have explored other markets. Instead, she chose New York. The official narrative is simple. Sabally wanted to win a championship and reunite with Sabrina Ionescu, her former Oregon teammate. They won a national championship together in college. The chemistry is proven. The Liberty just won the 2024 WNBA title and returned their core. From a basketball perspective, it makes perfect sense, but from a financial perspective, fans aren't buying it. How does a team with 3 max-level players afford a 4th All-Star? That's the question driving the investigation demands.
Oh, don't worry. Don't you worry. Yeah, Liberty fans, yeah, they're puffing their chest out. Winning franchises do whatever it takes. Utilize your connections and sponsorships and get the players you want. Yeah. Yeah. And I see a lot of chatter out there. You know, this is because Kelsey Mitchell took the Supermax. Now I hear that. Our best player is on a $500,000 contract. That's not an excuse. Our best player is getting...
Now here's what makes this particularly interesting. The WNBA has rules about this. Teams cannot provide compensation beyond the contract. Players cannot receive benefits that circumvent the salary cap. But those rules become murky when you're talking about legitimate endorsement deals. If Nike wants to pay Sabally $300,000 to be in their campaigns, that's legal. If a New York-based company wants to make her a brand ambassador, that's legal. The question becomes, are these deals happening organically, or are they being orchestrated by team ownership as a way to supplement salaries? The league can't prove orchestration without direct evidence. An email saying, "We'll get you this deal if you sign here," would be a smoking gun. But if it's just a team owner mentioning to a business partner that a certain player might be available and would be great for their brand, where's the violation? It's networking, it's using connections, it's what happens in every major market, in every professional sport.
This front office doesn't deserve any grace from me. I gotta keep it a buck. Monique Billings, cool. What else? It's my thought process. Ty Harris, cool. What else? That's my thought process. Until I see an Alana Smith signed, I'm saying, what else? Shout out to Gwitty. If you know, you know. What else? That's crazy. Where's Alana Smith? Where is Alana Smith? If you're telling me Ty and Monique Billings are backups, cool.
The comparison to other leagues is inevitable. The NBA has been dealing with this for decades. Teams in major markets have always had an advantage in attracting free agents, not just because of the market size, but because of the endorsement opportunities those markets provide. A player in Los Angeles or New York has access to deals that simply don't exist in smaller markets. The NBA accepts this as part of the competitive landscape. The difference is the NBA's salary cap is high enough that teams can pay stars what they're worth. The WNBA's cap is so restrictive that these outside deals become essential for players to earn market value. That's the real issue here. WNBA players are underpaid relative to the revenue they generate. The salary cap doesn't reflect the league's growth, so players and teams find workarounds. The Liberty's advantage isn't that they're cheating. It's that they're better positioned to offer the workarounds that make the restrictive cap tolerable for star players. Other teams either can't offer the same opportunities or haven't figured out how to leverage their market effectively.
Man. I know we want to be positive, but we're doing bad. Stephanie White brought in another person that knows Stephanie White's slow offense that we hate. What? Am I missing something? Tell me what I'm missing in the comment section, please. What am I missing? We don't like Stephanie's offense, so what does Stephanie do? Oh, I'm just going to get somebody that knows my offense.
But let's address the elephant in the room. This creator is a Fever fan. You can hear the frustration. Caitlin Clark is making $500,000, which is actually the rookie maximum after the new CBA adjustments. Kelsey Mitchell signed a Supermax extension worth $249,000 annually. Between their two salaries, that's $749,000, which is roughly half the team's salary cap. That should leave room to add talent. Yet the Fever's big free agency moves were Temi Fagbenle, a solid backup forward, and Tyasha Harris, a backup point guard who played for Stephanie White in Connecticut. The frustration is valid. The Fever have the biggest star in women's basketball. They have a scoring guard in Mitchell. They made the playoffs in 2024 for the first time in years. This should be the moment to go all in, to add the veteran piece that turns a playoff team into a contender. Instead, they brought back familiar faces and added depth. Meanwhile, the Liberty are building a dynasty and the Sky are loading up with Diggins Smith and Reese. The competitive gap is widening, and Fever fans are watching it happen in real time.
Oh, but Kelsey signed for the Supermax. I don't care. Caitlin Clark's making $500,000. Let's just say between Kelsey and Caitlin, they're making $1.9 million between the two of them. That's like having two #1 players on your team, 1A and 1B, 1A and 2A. However, I'm not going to get into that. Each making $900,000 each. There's your pay cut right there. Now present me an argument.
The Aaliyah Boston question is the subtext of all this frustration. Boston, the 2023 Rookie of the Year and a foundational piece for Indiana, is still on her rookie contract. She's making roughly $85,000, which is criminally low for a player of her caliber. That underpayment should theoretically give the Fever massive cap flexibility. They have their franchise player on a discount. They have their star guard locked up long-term. They should be able to add a third piece. So why didn't they? There are three possible explanations. 1, the Fever front office tried and failed to land a bigger name. 2, they're being conservative financially and don't want to leverage sponsorships the way other teams do. 3, they're planning for the future and don't want to commit long-term money before they see how the Clark-Mitchell-Boston core develops. None of these explanations satisfy fans who watch the Liberty add Sabally and the Sky rebuild aggressively. The perception is that Indiana is either unwilling or unable to compete at the highest level of team building.
I'm sorry. But man, this is like Yankees fans being happy that we're running it back with the same exact team. Oh, well, you know, Garrett Cole's coming back and he's going to be healthy. And Clark Schmidt, he's going to come back and he's going to be healthy. And hopefully Volpe's back to what Volpe used to be. What? No. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me.
So should the Liberty be investigated? Here's the honest answer. Probably not, because they're almost certainly operating within the rules as written. The WNBA knows this happens. Every team with resources tries to leverage them. The Liberty are just better at it than most because they have better resources to leverage. An investigation would likely find exactly what everyone already knows. Teams help connect players with endorsement opportunities, and those opportunities influence free agency decisions. What would actually change things? A higher salary cap that reduces the need for these workarounds, revenue sharing that gives smaller market teams more resources to compete, luxury tax provisions that penalize teams for going over the cap but allow them to do it if they're willing to pay. Basically, structural changes to the CBA that address the underlying problem instead of trying to police the symptoms. But here's why that's complicated. The WNBA is still not profitable as a league. The players' share of revenue is already higher percentage-wise than in many other leagues. Raising the cap requires raising revenue, which means better media deals, higher attendance, more sponsorships. The league is growing, but it's not growing fast enough to dramatically increase player compensation overnight. So in the meantime, players and teams do what they have to do to make the economics work. The Liberty are winning because they're maximizing every advantage their market provides. The Fever are frustrated because they have a generational talent and can't seem to build around her at the same pace. The Sky are aggressive because their ownership is willing to spend and take risks. Every team is operating within the same rulebook, but some teams have figured out how to read between the lines better than others, and that's what makes this such a perfect microcosm of the WNBA's current state. The league is growing faster than its infrastructure can handle. Player salaries haven't caught up to player value. Market advantages are more pronounced because the salary cap is so restrictive. Teams are innovating around the limitations, and fans are noticing the disparity. Should there be an investigation? Maybe, but not of the Liberty specifically, of the entire system that makes these workarounds necessary in the first place. Because if the league actually wants competitive balance, they need to address the structural issues that create such massive advantages for teams in major markets with deep-pocketed ownership. Until then, the Liberty will keep signing all-stars, the Fever will keep adding depth pieces, and fans will keep asking how this is possible under a salary cap system. The real question isn't whether the Liberty are cheating. It's whether the WNBA's economic model is sustainable when the gap between what teams can offer is this wide. And based on the reaction to this Sabally signing, that's a question the league is going to have to answer sooner rather than later. So where do you stand? Are the Liberty just smarter than everyone else, or is there something here that crosses the line? Should the league investigate? Or is this just how professional sports works in a cap system? Drop your take in the comments because this conversation is just getting started.